Superfood for me is a completely new way of thinking. It's a revolution in my life, and I know it's going to be one in your life. It's not just about kale and quinoa, it's about cooking smart with simple ingredients. Making the most delicious, nutritious food doesn't have to be about fatty, fashionable ingredients. You can make them from things that are around you. It's just how you put them together. To inspire you to create a nutritious recipe that your family will love to eat, I'm going to take you around the world to explore some of the healthiest cuisines on the planet. Kimchi! Woo! Now you're flirting with me. Where families eat simple, healthy diets. What more do you want? Loads of family, friends, good food. And live long, I'm absolutely speechless, and active lives. From Alpine Switzerland, not like the lakes where I come from. I mean, I'd drink that. To the amazing flavours of South Korea. All I can tell you is it's bloody delicious. And the stunning island of Sardinia. I want to pick the plate up and hug it. So good. Inspired by what I've learned, I'm going to show you new and ingenious ways to give a superfood twist to your family's favourite dishes. From breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You're going to love it. Oh, I don't want you to eat healthy food because you have to. I want you to eat it because it's delicious. On tonight's show, I'm making 3 perfectly balanced superfood dishes I know your family will love. I travelled to 2 countries where people live long, healthy lives to get inspiration for working more superfoods into our daily diet. By the coast in southern Sardinia, I met a farmer who supercharged the humble tomato. In a time where we're so up for taking vitamins and supplements, this is where it's at. In South Korea, I lend a hand making a popular bean tree. So they give me some gloves. The girls want to set me to work. And use aduki beans to add a healthy boost to an Asian-inspired stew. And that is healthy eating with style. Enjoy. But before my travels, a superfood breakfast the whole family will love. It's breakfast time, guys, and you've heard me say it 1,000 times before. One of the most important meals of the day. So helps you with focus, maintaining energy till lunch. Really great for kids. So why not kick it off in style? Let's start with a dish where you're going to get 2 of your fruit. Done and dusted by breakfast. This roasted stone fruit crumble with coconut, dates and oats. It's totally balanced and nutritious. Made with loads of lovely fruit, it's a sweet and healthy start to the day. First up, I want to create a beautiful natural liquor to roast the fruit in. So I'm going to start off with 6 oranges. Now, normally when you're roasting off or jamming fruit, of course, one of the primary ingredients is going to be sugar, sugar, sugar. Not in this recipe. So what I'm going to do is work with nature to give us something really delicious. So orange juice, of course, is naturally sweet, but it's also going to roast in and around my stone fruit. To give the orange juice a flavour kick, I'm adding the seeds of 1 vanilla pod. Next, 150 grams of strawberries, grated. Yes, you've heard me, grated. It's a brilliant way to get those sweet juices mingling. And I've got one more curveball, a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. That's going into the oven at 200 degrees to warm through, while I get on making an ingenious crumble with a difference. So we're going to use 200 grams of medjool dates. You get incredible, sticky, caramelised flavours from that, which are going to be amazing. We're going to go in with 360 grams of gorgeous porridge oats, 80 grams of coconut, which is desiccated, unsweetened. This is rich in manganese, which supports healthy collagen production to help protect your cells. Finally, add a tablespoon of olive oil, along with 130 millilitres of water, then blitz it up into a crumble. So, fruit time, guys. We've got apricots, peaches, plums, we've got lovely cherries. I'm using 2 kilograms of fruit, which will be enough for 12 portions. So what's really important to remember is people that have higher intakes of fruit and veg often have much lower cases of common diseases, strokes, heart attacks, certain cancers, and we can't ignore that. So there you go, look at that lovely pile of goodness. Now it's time to take the orange, strawberry and balsamic juice out of the oven. Add your fruit to the dish and spoon over all that gorgeous natural juice. And of course, heating that sauce up in advance while you're prepping the fruit is a really good thing to do. It gives you better flavour and it gives the end product a nicer, jammier consistency. We're going to put the fruit and the crumble back in the oven for around about 40 minutes. Happy days. So after 40 minutes, it's going to look something like this. It smells incredible. Then I'm going to get some of that lovely coconutty, oaty crumble.
Top it off with a tablespoon of natural yogurt.
Let's have a little taste up. So good. Roasting fruit like that is so tasty. The juice is sublime.
And all for only 218 calories per portion.
What a brilliant way to set up the day. Delicious.
For all the recipes, go to channel4.com/Jamie Superfood. To get inspiration for lunch, I'm off to Sardinia, a jewel of an island off the west coast of Italy. It's a hotbed of centenarians, and there are more 100-year-old fellas here than the rest of the planet. And there's one ingredient used in pretty much every meal here, the humble tomato. And the Italians grow over 300 varieties. In the fertile ground of Santa Margherita di Pula, in southern Sardinia, there's a man doing incredible things.
Buongiorno!
Buongiorno.
For me, he's the god of tomatoes. Giancarlo Congi.
Jamie, look at this.
Qui abbiamo, vedi, il sole, vedi quest'acqua, cioè salata, che noi usiamo per l'irrigazione.
Sardinia's most famous tomato is the Cremona, and the surrounding sea has a hand in the unique flavour of Giancarlo's crop.
Why do you think tomatoes are so good for your body?
Perché il pomodoro in generale già dall'inizio era molto ricco di licopene e il licopene è una sostanza antiossidante, di conseguenza anche antitumorale. Noi qui, almeno nella nostra azienda, abbiamo cercato anche di migliorare.
Giancarlo's been tinkering with his tomatoes for years, trying to increase their levels of lycopene, and all the magic happens in here.
Ooh, look at this.
A coltivare quelle varietà di Cremona che rispetto al pomodoro rosso raggiungono anche 10-20 volte in più di licopene.
Oh wow, delicioso.
Buono.
I love this idea of coming back to the reality that real food is full of goodness. In a time where we're so up for taking vitamins and supplements, this is where it's at. And the more goodness we can get into our food, the happier and healthier we're going to be for sure. Beautiful. Ah, the best bit. Lunchtime. Look at these tomatoes, they're unbelievable. So you're going to make the salad?
Sì.
Louis?
The Cremona is at its best eaten raw.
And my main man here is just doing a rustic tomato salad. I mean, it's very beautiful.
And very simple. A trio of tomatoes, red onion and capers.
Time for some mazzamorro?
Mazzamurro.
This is a local classic, a peasant dish made with stale bread, layered with cooked tomatoes and topped with pecorino cheese.
So good. So simple. So we've got the fresh tomato salad here. We've got the cooked tomatoes here in the mazzamorro. Interestingly, when you cook tomatoes, that all-important lycopene is more available to your body to absorb. So cooking it is better for the lycopene. Having it raw is better for the vitamin C. So what's the answer? Have both. So that was amazing. Short of a bit of wine, though. Tomatoes, an incredible ingredient. And fellas, listen up, because if you eat tomatoes regularly, your chances of getting prostate cancer are lowered by 40%. So let me show you how to make a tomato sauce. But guys, not a normal tomato sauce. Let's make a superfood tomato sauce.
Pour in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil on a medium heat, 2 sliced cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, and fry the lot for a minute. Into that aromatic mix with onions, celery, carrots, courgettes, red peppers, leeks and butternut squash, skin on. It'll cook down nicely.
In the Oliver household, this 7-veg tomato sauce is pretty much always in our freezer. And we use it for simple pasta dishes, spaghetti penne. You can put it in stews, you can put it in curries. You get the drift, right? I'm going to just, on a medium heat, cook it down. And after 20 minutes, it looks like this. We're going to add 4 tins of tomatoes. Now, a quick tip on tomatoes. If you want the A-grade tomatoes, always buy plum tomatoes, okay?
We need about 2 tins of water, so half fill the empties and swirl around the remaining juices. Simmer for 25 minutes or until the sauce is reduced. Season with salt and that's it. Just cool it, blitz it smooth and Bob's your uncle. Squeeze out the air and follow me to the freezer.
This kind of stuff weirdly makes me happy. I think I'm getting old, okay?
Place your bags in the freezer and you've got an instant source any day of the week. Superfood, super fast.
Now the question is, what do you do with it? And I've got an amazing recipe that my family love.
These perfect pasta parcels, smothered in mouth-watering 7-veg sauce, have got 3 of your 5 a day. It's so flippin' easy. Get yourself 300 grams of fine ground Italian flour. Make a well in the middle and fill it with 3 free-range eggs. And that's all you need.
I do this with my little kids and we have so much fun, but it's basically making edible Play-Doh.
You can whiz the dough together in a food processor, but I prefer to use my hands. Knead it till really smooth on a floured surface. Cling film it and let it rest for about half an hour. Now, let's have a look at the filling, starting with the butternut squash. Dry roast in the oven for an hour at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit.
And then we've got ricotta here, which is 1/3 of the fat of a hard cheese. So this is delicious fresh, but I've got a nice little tip for you. What I did was put that ricotta in the squash halfway through, and what happens, you can see, it just tightens up, and it becomes deeply crumbly.
Lose the skin and seeds, and add 15 grams of finely chopped basil. Mash this tasty trio together and season it.
So there you go, that is, my friends, your filling. So let's do the fun bit. We've got the dough here. Of course, using a machine is kind of easier, but just to show that you can do it with a rolling pin.
Break off some dough on a floured surface, get it about 1 millimetre thick and about 12 centimetres wide. And that'll hold a heaped teaspoon of filling nicely. Brush on some water and seal.
Squeeze out the air, and that is your basic ravioli. You can just use a crinkle cutter and you're going to have that. Just beautiful.
So with the dough you've made, you'll probably get about 24 parcels of goodness.
You're always going to do a couple of scruffy ones. Don't get stressed about it. You're going to do some beautiful ones too.
I'm going to cook them gently in boiling salted water for about 2 minutes and let them have a dip in the 7-veg tomato sauce.
For me, this kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. It's the kind of food of my childhood. The only difference is my ravioli came out of a tin, and it probably wasn't balanced, and it definitely wasn't a superfood, but this is.
Let's top these champs off with rocket, parmesan and a delicate drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Now that's what I call a plate of joy. And only 536 calories a portion, super healthy family food, with enough in the freezer to dine another day.
Oh, this is so heavenly this weekend. Just give it a go. You're going to love it. Oh.
Coming up, in South Korea, I get put to work making a healthy bean-filled snack.
She's just checking my portion control. I might not understand a word she's saying, but I know what she's thinking.
And my trip inspires a sumptuous superfood steak stew.
That is healthy eating with style.
I'm cooking a day's worth of delicious dishes which are nutritionally balanced your family will love. So far in my superfood day, we've had a game-changing toasted fruit crumble for breakfast, powering us through to a sublime lunch of squash and ricotta ravioli with a magnificent 7-veg tomato sauce. So with dinner in mind, I'm heading to the island of Jeju, off the coast of South Korea, to learn more about a superfood that's a staple ingredient of one of the healthiest diets in the world. Jeju is a matriarchal society, and I've come to meet some incredible ladies who make a popular local dish that's packed full of beans.
Across Korea and here on Jeju Island, they absolutely love beans. And this place, as humble as it looks, is really famous. People queue every single day, they're sold out by 3 o'clock, and I want to know what all the fuss is about. Hi, girls.
안녕하세요.
How you doing? Wow, look at this.
At this family-run business, Lee Sung-yeol, sister Lee Sam-soon, and daughter Jeon-jing-ah make a popular South Korean bean snack called omegijeok, using ground millet flour and red aduki beans.
Really? Okay. Wow, it's an amazing texture. Delicious. How do you make this?
옛날에 제주도 아무것도 쌀 없을 때는 좁쌀만 했었어요. 그래서 오메기라고 했는데 그때 하고 이제는 제주도에 이제 육지서 쌀도 들어오고 찹쌀도 들어오니까 옛날에는 이거 없었는데 이 식으로 이제 이 앙금도 넣고 하니까 아주 떡이 맛있었어요.
Often, when you look at parts of the world where people live very long, in their history they've had to really fight for food. This, in some respects, would have been, like, for all the grafters and the workers, this would have been like a little lunchbox, you know, survival kit to keep them going. Really, really nice.
Koreans eat 10 times more beans than we do in the UK, and their high-protein, low-fat qualities could contribute to the fact that only 1 in 20 South Korean adults are obese, compared with 1 in 4 in the UK.
Normally, we're used to sort of... Can you see me through the steam? Hello! Normally, in Europe, we use beans in a savoury context, but here in Korea, they don't want to stop at savoury. They use this for sweet, and it's delicious. It really is. So they're giving me some gloves. The girls want to set me to work. So we're going to take this off. Okay, we're going to open it up. Take a little red bean jam, which is sweet. You like this? Not too much. And then... No? Profits are going to go down. Next one will be perfect, I promise. Yep. Yep. She's just checking my portion control. I might not understand a word she's saying, but I know what she's thinking. What's really interesting is the Koreans do eat a lot of bean. They're so full of incredible proteins, iron, zinc. They're really beneficial to health. And there's been some amazing studies done around the world with all nationalities that proves that if you have beans in your diet, that you live longer. If you don't have beans in your diet, you live shorter. Amazing. And as it gets hot and steamy in here, me and the girls are going to crack on, because there's about 5,000 of these to make. And she don't like me talking, this one. She likes me working.
Nowadays, you can find the dookie beans closer to home in good supermarkets. The perfect little heroes for my superfood supper.
After baked beans, what else do we do with beans? Not much. And the Mediterranean and Korea and Asia, they celebrate beans. They're really, really healthy. There's so many different kinds, shapes, sizes. And I want to celebrate one that you can get in the supermarkets now. This is a dookie beans.
Unlike baked beans, these tin of dookie beans don't have any added sugar. And they're going into a stew, but not as you know it. This one has steak, tofu, and Szechuan spice with sticky rice.
So first up, look at these ingredients. We got loads of goodness, loads of veggies, tofu, steaks, ginger, chilli, garlic. It's gonna be delicious.
First, put your 250 grams of risotto rice and a drained 400-gram tin of aduki beans into your pan.
So cover it with 1 centimetre of water, a nice little pinch of salt, and then just let it come to the boil, then turn it down and just cook it until the rice is sticky and tender and gorgeous.
Right, to start off the stew, chop 1 fresh chilli, 2 cloves of garlic, and a thumb-sized chunk of ginger.
So next, we're using grass-fed, beautiful sirloin of beef.
250 grams will feed 4 people. Remove any fat or sinew so it will cook down to be beautifully tender.
In Korea, it was always veg-driven. Pickles, kimchi, fermented dish, and then there'd be some kebabs and some fish or some meat, and it was just in perfect proportion. And you can't help but look at their health statistics and their wonderful, colourful food, and then go, right, I'm kind of seeing patterns here.
Get things going with a tablespoon of groundnut oil, then add your garlic, chilli and ginger.
Oh, it smells incredible straight away.
Add the steak, 2 chopped carrots, and the white part of some spring onions. Next up, 250 grams of peppery radishes.
People, they think of radishes kind of in salads and maybe picnics, but actually they cook fantastically well. They really do.
Next in, 2 tablespoons of Chinese chili bean paste.
If you can't get it, don't worry. In your supermarket, you could use a black bean paste. It's going to give you a nice flavour.
Now we want a litre of vegetable stock and leave it to simmer for 8 minutes before adding a tablespoon of corn flour that you've dissolved in a little water to thicken it.
And then we're literally going to sprinkle in the asparagus, the lovely sprouting broccoli. Look at the colours, guys. Look at the colours.
Finally, it's time for tofu. About 350 grams of this deliciously silky bean curd will do. Pop it straight into a pan for about 5 minutes and let it suck up all of that lovely flavour.
Let's have a little taste up. Oh, yes.
Let's plate up this Korean-inspired family dinner.
Look at that. Who wouldn't want that? It's something different, it's something exciting, and there's so much food.
Finish off by toasting a heaped teaspoon of Szechuan peppercorns and then bash them up in a pestle and mortar.
It takes seconds to create a little dust from those toasted Szechuans. The smell is just perfume. We're just going to literally sprinkle that over the whole dish. And there you go.
A delicious dish that will fill you full of the good stuff for just 561 calories a portion.
Wow, there's a lot going on there. light, delicate. At the same time, you know, that Szechuan's funking things up a little bit. And there's depth of flavour there. It feels rich. And that is healthy eating with style. Enjoy.
So there you have it, a whole day's worth of nutritionally balanced dishes, all for around 1,300 calories. An amazing toasted fruit crumble for breakfast, sublime squash and ricotta ravioli for lunch, and dinner with a very special steak and tofu bean stew. But what's most important though, is filling your families full of the good stuff. That's superfood. Next time, after a ride in the Alpine air, a green superfood celebrated in Switzerland soups up a classic pasta dish.
Give it a go. You won't regret it.
And after a visit to the Sardinian mountains, I'm full of beans, making a game-changing shepherd's pie.
Food that is really good for your body.
The cookbook Superfood Family Classics is available from all major retailers, and I'm sure a few minor ones too. Next we're on the road talking pork rinds and cheese. It's food. It's brand new. Food Unwrapped.